This world celebrates results but hides the process. No one applauds isolation, the exhaustion, the missed sleep, the pressure of responsibilities while fighting in your mind. That's where targets lie in repetition, in sacrifice, and showing up without applause. Brutal truth. Discipline will take you places motivation never would. The target always exposes who's built for it. If you don't have a target, if you don't have a target, you lack direction. You may not see it as such, but there's something that you're looking at, something that you're trying to do. That's a target. Targets aren't necessarily, I'm setting somebody up for the kill. That ain't necessarily what it is. It's simply a motivational factor in whatever it is that drives you. But you must have a target. If you want certain things in life, you have to target them. If money fell out the sky, we all would be rich. But the money falling out the sky would have no value because it'd be plentiful. If you want certain things in life, you got to target them. You got to put your efforts, your resources, your intentions behind that target just to get to it. For a lot of people, that breaks before that moment happens. They break before they actually hit their target because sometimes it ain't easy. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you thinking, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it that way, but it don't yield the results that you're looking for. So therefore you stuck because you don't see the results. You had good intentions. You just didn't get the target. My advice, keep trying. Keep going after it. But people do break before that happens. Does that apply to you? What have you dealt with? What have you faced that you targeted with intentions, good intentions, and you're no longer able to target that particular thing? Whatever that looked like for you. Just ask yourself the question why you gave up. And you may have your reasons and they may well all be valid. I'm no judge. We all have our reasons for why we do things. But the things that we do is based upon a target we're trying to achieve. Sometimes we disregard that and we don't look at it as such. Just keep pushing and going at it. That would be my thought. That would be my action. But these targets, when you look at like politics, right? What do most politicians target? Every election year, every election cycle, what do you see the most of? You see a lot of promotional stuff on television. You hear it through podcast ads. You hear it on the radio. You see it on social media, these candidates being pushed. They already know who their target audience is. They already know who their target demographics is. If it's a Republican, they're pushing one agenda. If it's a Democrat, they're pushing another agenda. If it's an independent, they're pushing an agenda. Then you got the Green Party agenda. But you see them the most during an election cycle. Think about that. I remember when President Obama got elected as president. Up until the presidential election, I never heard of this man. Never heard of him. But he became president. Why? Because they push. They push. He had a media team behind him that pushed, a marketing team that pushed. And the party pushed. They all had their targets. They didn't lose sight of that. They wanted this guy to be the candidate, and the target was the White House. And the same applies for every president that's ever been elected, for every council member that's ever been elected, for every senator, a House of Representative, congressperson that's ever been elected. They all target. They all got an agenda. They all know who their voting party is and how they tend to vote. So they get out in the community and they do community events. They want your vote. I'm not knocking it. I'm just bringing light to you that certain things and a lot of things that you do in everyday life can be a target. Same with religion. Same thing with religion. How many people ever go places and y'all see, people on the corner and they holding up religious signs? Or you may have them even come in your neighborhood or knock on your door and persuade you or tell you about their religion, but not so much their religion, their God. And then you look a little deep and you see, okay, this is their religion. This is what they study. I don't have no knock on anyone that do that. But I know we have all seen it. I know to a degree, we should have already, experienced that. I used to get knocks at my door from Jehovah Witnesses. I didn't know they were Jehovah Witnesses at the time, but now I know. I go on certain streets on certain days of the week. I'll see Islams. I'll see Muslims. I'm not knocking none of them. They want to bring people in to get to know their God or their version of God. So they know who they're targeting. They know where to go. They're going where there's a lot of foot traffic, or they're coming into communities where it's already safe and they can at least talk to the people because they're friendly. I'm friendly until you cross me. So if you knock on my door, I'm going to answer. I'm going to be cordial with you. I'm going to talk to you, even if you're a salesperson. I've had that happen a few times. And once I see the name on this shirt or whatever, pamphlet or promotional item that they holding in their hand, and I see the name on it, I go ahead and cut it short right there. Look, hey, I'm all right. I'm good. I ain't trying to buy nothing. I'm happy with what I got. He ain't looking for nothing. If I was soliciting for this, it'd be a different outcome. But I'm not looking for that. I'm good. I appreciate it. But they know who their target is. That's the point. They know who they're going after. Even in relationships, every woman knows the type of guy that they like. They may not target that person, or they may target that person, but they know what they like. Just like every guy knows what kind of woman he likes. And he may target that person, he may not target that person. But there's something within that frame that we want. There's something within that frame that's present in our partners and our spouses. It might not be the whole wish list total package that you was thinking of, but you have some of what you was wanting. And that's enough to suffice. I'm not saying that to minimize any one position. I'm simply saying that to say you never really get everything that you're looking for, but you get everything that you need. And once you with that person, you get to know them more and more and better. You understand, okay, I could deal without certain aesthetics that I may like. Because this is a good person with a genuine heart. And I am attracted to him. We target people in relationships. We target businesses as well. And businesses target you. If you can be a potential client, they target you. Back to what I said a few minutes ago, you'll have people that door knock. They come through, they knock on your door, they got a product or service they want to sell you on. They're targeting you. They feel like, okay, you may want this. No different than you have certain companies. Only one I can think of right now is True Green. It does the fertilizing services. They target new homeowners, people who just bought a home, and they solicit to you because you want your loan to look right. You want your loan to look good, right? So they target you. Life insurance companies, when you purchase a home, That data is out, that data is public. A lot of life insurance companies, they start soliciting you. Secure your mortgage by getting this life insurance that if something should happen to you, it covers your mortgage and it doesn't upset your family. That's what happens. Even, like Terminex and termite companies. When you buy a home, you get so many solicitations for services in the home ownership category that you didn't look for or you wouldn't even thinking about. And you could be buying a brand new home that built this year. You're still gonna get it. Even if you're buying an older home, you're still gonna get it. They're targeting you. New customer or new homeowner, they may need this. So let's send them some mailers. Let's send them some promotional items because they may need it. They may need it. On top of that, you'll have, health centers that target you. You'll have, um, you know, uh, weight loss centers that target you. And they're playing on the emotion that you already feel a way about yourself. They're playing on different emotions or different ailments that you may be dealing with. But that's casting a wide net. You ever watch TV during the midday? Say you watch the afternoon news, you see a ton of commercials about injury lawyers. You see the same thing in the evening. They know when people are watching TV and they target them. You have certain commercials that only play during the midday because most of the people that are home during the midday are either unemployed, disabled, or retired. The bulk of the people. So they're in front of a television and they're watching TV. So you'll see a lot of ads pushed towards them. They are all targets. And in the evening times, you'll see more so income based or income chasing ads like, ponds and loans and um, things of that nature. But they know how to target you. Vehicles, same thing. They know how to target you. Then you also see a lot of businesses target you as an individual, male or female, husband or wife. They'll target you as well. Target your children. You don't too much see a whole lot of toy commercials like you used to, or video game commercials like you used to, but you'll see a ton of like movie promotionals, especially children's movies. You'll see a lot of that stuff. I'm giving all these examples to open up your mind to the targets, whether they be your target or somebody targeting you. And I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing. I think it's okay. I think you just have to have the intuition and the good intentions to disregard what you need to disregard and focus on what you need to focus on. As an individual, you should have your own set of targets that you're trying to achieve, whether that's you graduate high school, go to college, go in the military, buy a vehicle, buy a home, you want a family. You have to be intentional with your targets because we can get trapped in the, oh, she looks good, but she ain't good for me. Or he looks good, but he ain't good for me. And then you look up and that person that ain't necessarily good for you, you got a kid with them and you don't see yourself in the future with them. Or you work for a company that they pay good, but you don't see how they're going to be around for the long haul. And then you go up and buy a house knowing what you already know. You get a mortgage, and a year or two later, they file for bankruptcy. They no longer can pay their employees. They close their doors. You're stuck. Sometimes we got to open our eyes to the things that's right in front of us and see them for what they are instead of disregarding them, hoping that it changes. And I'm being for real with that. A lot of times we'll see things in people, we'll see things in businesses, we'll see things in other entities that we know ain't right, but we disregard them because we're getting something from it. Tell me if I'm lying. I know I can't like physically hear you or whatever, but think about that. Some people don't realize it. You know, I think every so often, especially around like holiday seasons, Christmas or Memorial Day, Labor Day, Veteran Day, you see all these sales, these promotionals, mattresses, Macy's, Under Armour. You see all these different fashion promotionals. They targeting people, and they using these holidays as a crutch, hoping that you may come in and you see this 20%, 30, 40, 50% off, 75% off, on winter items because you got your seasonal promotions. So let's go ahead and buy this jacket in the summer at the summer price versus buying this jacket in the winter at the winter price. You can save yourself a few dollars. You got to understand the cycles of targets, the cycles of business and how they move. Same with electronics. Apple will put out an iPhone every year. And by the time that phone comes out, they already boosted the next version of it. In between the two, they'll put a lower tier version of that same phone out. They may even release a newer iPad, a newer mini PC. But they got their customer base. They got their fan base. They got the people that they chasing. I wouldn't say chasing, but they got the people that they market it to. They have the people that they target for those products or even services. Because you can get some Apple apps, the Creator Studio, the business apps. Um, but they know who their target is. And one thing they know about their product and their services is workflow. It's nice when you can go from your iPhone to your iPad to your mini PC or your MacBook Pro or any of the MacBook versions, variations that they have, and go through all of your files and do everything that you need to do because they all intertwine with each other. That's a nice feature, workflow. So they know who their target customer is. Someone who's either has their own company, work for a company, they do a lot, but they understand the importance of having all of their devices within sync of each other to get things done. I don't knock them for that. That's part of the reason I deal with them. I like the workflow. I'm not saying this don't exist with other products. I started with their product, so therefore I'm gonna say for right now, unless I see something better, I'm gonna stick with it because it's working for me. It's working for me. Mobility. You'll see the commercials for the hover rounds. You'll see the commercials for I can't remember what it was called, but it's kind of like a not an elevator, but you can start at the first floor of your home and ride the staircase up. They know who they target when you see those commercials. We all are being targeted in some form or fashion. We can't deny that. Now, if you disregard it, that's on you. I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't. I'm just saying that you should see it for what it is. Even your own targets. Be intentional. The things that you want in life, you got to target certain channels to get to them. Because again, it ain't going to fall out the sky. Have you ever lived life not realizing or realizing you didn't have a target? That's a place of peace, but it takes time to get there. When you go about living your life and you don't have a target, you're settled in your ways, you're financially secure, you're not worried about bills, you're not worried about expenses. everything is taken care of. You don't necessarily need to focus on a target. If you work for a company or if you have your own business, whatever it is you do to put income in your bank account, you fall back. But to get to that point, you had to start with a target. And that's natural. I don't see anything wrong with that. You may be listening to me talk about this and say, you know what? He's right. I do have targets. You may be listening to this and tell yourself, I don't have enough targets. I'm behind the eight ball. I need to target more. And I get that as well. It's like playing a game of pool and you are behind the eight ball. You know you're getting ready to win. But to get to the eight, you got to go through the rest of the balls you need to go through to get to it. And all of those balls are targets. All of those balls on that table can represent something. No different than every piece on the chessboard, every piece on the checkers board, every card in the deck. It's all about how you play it. But they're all targets because you need to move the pieces in a certain way in order to get to the point where you know you're going to succeed. Some of it requires a lot more strategy than others. Some of it don't. Some of it requires a little less strategy, but we still need to have those targets to focus on to get us through the things that we need to get to through. In the meantime, having a target provides for you. Think about the things that you have right now in life. Think about where you at right now. You having a target provides. You having a job. Your target is getting up, going to work, putting in your time. That's your target. So it provides. Also offers a layer of protection. Also offers a layer of protection. Be intentional with everything. All your targets. You need a reason to target whatever it is that you target. And don't do it for the trends. Every so often, there's going to be a new trend. And someone is chasing that trend, and someone else is making bank off of that trend. Don't chase the trend. You know, what's that old saying? Don't buy the news, buy the story, sell the news. It's a real statement. So what are you doing with your targets, your objectives? What you doing? What's in your control? What you gonna execute? Your mind, your body, your spirit. They all got different variations of targets, different things that will help you based upon those targets. Whatever you put into your body, say you love fried chicken, you love fried food. So you wake up or you get ready to go out and you say, you know what, I'm gonna target this. I want fried food. It ain't necessarily the best for you. It ain't the worst thing for you, but you're targeting it. What's the byproduct of that? How's it gonna affect you? How is you getting on social media and targeting chaos? What does that have? What effect does that have on your mind? What effect does that have on your spirit? Because you could sit there and look at, trash television, trash social media all day. But what is it doing for you? Is it distracting you from your purpose? Is it distracting you from that target? Because you're sitting there taking in, watching people fight, watching ratchet television, watching nonsense, you're just consuming bullshit is what you're doing. And it's absorbing energy. Or you're watching things that is based on propaganda. That's a whole nother thing right there. We have to be able to decipher when certain agendas are being pushed on us. And I ain't saying this just for men. This apply to women as well. This apply to children as well. There's so much propaganda out there that you'll be at war with your closest loved one behind shit that you're seeing on social media or TV. And it's all propaganda. They're all pushing this agenda. How can we do this? And what we don't see is who's making the money off of that. Because if I'm pissed off with this person or pissed off with that person, and I go to do this and I go to do that, at the end of me doing whatever it is that I'm doing, somebody got a sales pitch. Somebody trying to capitalize on it. Somebody try to get me to be an emotional spender because of what's being pushed. You ever had that happen? You ever recognize that, seen it? You'll see a lot of social media posts and videos and clips and things of that nature. And at the end of it, it's like, get this short term loan. They pushing this propaganda to get you to spend emotionally, or you you watch a lot of sports and you watching a lot of sport clips, and then they start pushing these different online sports betting agendas, and hey, you get this $50 credit right off the muscle. You ain't spend no bread with them yet. You ain't put nothing in that account that you created yet for that, but they give you 50 off the muscle. Now, again, I personally feel like all of this is propaganda, but I have yet to do any business with you, but you give me $50 credit, which is going to incentivize me and entice me to spend. And of course, you're going to let me win something off of the credit just to get me to make a bigger deposit of my money, the real money. Credit is easy. That's easy. I remember when what's that? This year when the uh the tax credit, no taxes on income, overtime income at a certain dollar amount for single married individuals, no taxes on tips for people in the hospitality industry. I remember when that first was, talked about on the news, and I said, man, that don't sound bad if it really play out to be what they're saying it is. If we want to go a little step further back, um, when President Obama was in office, and they was incentivizing people to purchase homes, and they gave you this tax credit for first time home buyers. When all of that was going in place, it sound great. It sound great. But what I can tell you is it ain't, and it don't equate to what you think it is, especially with that overtime. I'm thinking, oh yeah, if they're saying no taxes on, I think it was 12.5 for a married individual. I really don't remember the numbers, but I think it was 12.5 or something of that nature for a married individual. Well, that means I should get, in my mind, because the way that it was portrayed and spoke about, it would make you think that when you file your taxes, you're going to get a return on your income, your overtime income, if you made over 12.5, or if you made around or up to 12.5, whatever you made that's tax exempt, you would get a return. Let's say it's $8,000 in overtime, right? You would get that return back. Nah, you got a credit, you got a deduction. So you may have gotten 1,000, maybe $2,000 more than what you normally get when you file your taxes, but you did not earn that money without taxes. So I'm like, and I'm a salary individual, but I didn't start out like that. And so I had a small credit. I'm like, that'd be cool to get that back if that's what it is. I ain't get that back. I'm like, all right, cool. It still work out either way. Having a tax credit when you have, when you make a good amount of money, and you got your expenses and whatnot. It's great to have the tax deduction versus the money, but if you really want to boost the economy, what you think? The money. Don't give me the credit. Give them back the money. No different than the stimulus checks during COVID had this economy pumping. We still feeling the remnants of that because prices really haven't dropped much. And if anything, they're going up higher and higher. You had some people that were still working and getting COVID money. You had some people that wasn't working and the COVID money was paying them more than they was making on their job. They went out and they bought a lot of stuff because prices on things went up, but they got the income to, prove that they could afford whatever it is that they're getting. All part of the targets, man. All part of the targets. Make your citizens happy, make your customers happy, your clients happy, make your employees happy. Everyone has their agenda, everyone has their target, whether the intentions are good or whether the intentions are bad. We all have our targets. For those that target education, you know why. You know what you're going for. You're targeting whatever that degree is because you want whatever that degree delivers. Sometimes we got to put in sweat equity. Everything that we target ain't gonna be easy. You're not gonna always be in cool weather when it's hot. You're not always gonna be in warm weather when it's cold. You may get exposed to the elements. You may have to deal with snow, ice, rain. You may have to go out there and put in that sweat equity behind your targets, whatever that target is. You're a person that's going to school for a trade, HVAC, plumbing, things of that nature, and it's hot outside, and the work need to be done. But this is getting you closer to starting your own business because you're getting all this experience up under your belt. Keep going forward. We all have different targets and we target different things for different reasons as they pertain to our individual lives. So I would suggest you continue to do that. You continue to apply these targets to whatever it is that you're doing because you never know how to turn out. I never know from a day to day preference of how things are going to turn out. But I know I have my targets, good intentions. I did all this work and I look at where I'm at. I target all these different things and I look at where I'm at. And sometimes, if you're a busy individual, you're going to have a lot of targets up there. You're going to be targeting a lot of stuff at one time. You may exhaust yourself, but you're looking for whatever it is you target. You're looking for some of them, if not all, to pay dividends back to you. So you can look up and say, you know what, that was it. I did that. This is the benefit I got from it. We keep pushing that target. We hustling. You can't just be in one spot and happy. Now, for some people, they really are in one spot. They're happy. And I'm cool with that. I respect it if that's where you at. But a lot of individuals, a lot of different people, they target a lot of different things at different times. And we're looking for one, if not all of them, to bear some sort of fruit. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for them to bear some sort of fruit. So, I mean, when I think about my life and everything I went through, all the targets, even the bad ones, I learn from them. The good ones, I benefit from them. That's the game of life. That's part of life. That's you going through the motions. We all dealt a hand the values based on the strategy in which you play. That's simple. We all dealt a hand the values based on the strategy in which you play. Target.